The child care at a gym prices are as follows. So we have two different plans that we can choose from for child care at this particular gym. So if we take a look, Plan A, we're going to pay $20 every week plus $1.50 per hour. Plan B is $5.50 per hour. So Part A says, write an expression for each type of pricing plans for 1 week. So this is just for 1 week. So it's $20 per one. So it's just $20 because this is just for 1 week. So Plan A charges $20 plus $1.50 per hour because we're only considering 1 week of use. So it says define one variable that will be used for both plans. Well, we don't know how many hours. We know how many weeks. They told us that. So our variable is not going to be weeks. Our variable is going to be hours because we don't know how many hours. So we're going to define a variable. I'm going to go ahead and let H represent the number of hours of childcare. So let H represent the number of hours for childcare services at the gym. It would be wrong if you were to put let H equal hours. So we want to write it properly. H represents the number of hours for childcare services at the gym. So that's specific. We know what the H represents. Okay, so for Plan A, Plan A charges $20 for the week. Every week, $20, $20, $20. But it's only for 1 week. So that's why it's just $20. Plus, Plan A charges $1.50, plus $1.50, plus $1.50 for every hour. $1.50 for every, we're going to keep adding $1.50, $1.50, $1.50. We're adding $1.50 over and over again is the same thing as multiplying, but the problem is we don't know how many $1.50s we're adding, so that's what multiplication is for. So if we multiply $1.50 by the number of hours, that would give us our expression for Plan A, for the gym for Plan A. Now we have Plan B. Plan B charges $5.50. Plus every hour we're paying $5.50 for childcare, $5.50, $5.50. Well, adding $5.50 over and over and over again is the same thing as multiplication. But we don't know how many 550s that we're going to add because we don't know how many hours, so that's H. H is the number of hours. So this is our expression for Plan B. Okay, we could also write this as 20 plus 1.5h because we know when we're dealing with decimals we don't need a zero. Same thing here, we can write it as 5.5h. We could also put another option is we could also put this first, so we could write 1.5h plus 20. Okay, so Part B says Bob plans to use the child care for 7 hours this week. Which plan is best for him if he only wants to use it for 7 hours this week? So they tell us he wants to use it for 7 hours. So we now know that H is 7. So we're going to go ahead and take out the H and plug in 7 hours. So replace the H with 7. And then we know we do multiplication first. When we're talking about money here, we need a hundreds place. And then 550 times 7 is 38.5, but since we're talking about money, we need to add that 0 now that we're dealing with money when we explain our answer here. So which plan is better if you only want 7 hours? Clearly this is cheaper than this one. So the best plan for Bob is Plan A because it's cheaper. It's $8 cheaper. Okay, Part C says, write an inequality to show when Plan A, so Plan A is less, so remember this looks like an L for less, so that's why the inequality should be this way, right? Alright, is less than or equal to, so we need that line underneath because it says or equal to, Plan B. All right, so Plan A was 20 plus $1.50 per hour. So we have $20 plus $1.50 per hour is Plan A. And Plan B was $5.50 an hour. So this is our inequality. And now it says to solve the inequality. So now we're going to solve that. Okay, so to solve this inequality, we want the variables on both sides. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract here. And then once our variable term is all by itself, which it is, we have the h term all isolated, we divide by its coefficient, which is 4. And we now have h isolated. Now, we could also, typically we make less mistakes if the variable's first when we're discussing this answer here. So my suggestion is to transfer it so that the h is written first. Just like we could write x equals 2 or 2 equals x, it doesn't matter what side the variable goes with. Same thing with inequalities, but just like I call this the mouth of the inequality here, the wider part is opening to the h, we have to do the same thing here. And then the 5 goes there. So these two are the same answers. Just depends what side you sent the variable to. Okay, so now part D says, state the meaning of the answer you just found. Well, if we go back here, it says this inequality represents when Plan A is less than or equal to the Plan B. So we could say Plan A cost less than Plan B when the number of hours of childcare is greater than 5, because it says that the number of hours, h, is bigger than 5. Now, if we plug in 5, this line right here, if the number of hours is 5, that means that the plans are going to be equal. So if the number of hours are greater than 5, Plan A is less. But if the number of hours is 5, they both cost the same amount. So Plan A costs less than Plan B when the number of hours of child's care is greater than 5. So we get that from this. When the number of hours is 5, the plans cost the same. That's what this line right here means.